It's 3 in the morning, and the room is quiet, but your mind is loud. You're staring at the ceiling, doing the kind of math nobody talks about. How much is left in your checking account? How many days until Friday? Whether that weird clicking sound in your car turns into a small repair or a financial emergency. And maybe the hardest part is this. You're exhausted, but you still can't sleep. Because when money feels fragile, everything feels fragile. A flat tire, a missed shift, a surprise bill, one bad email, one bad phone call. And suddenly, your whole life feels like it's balancing on a number that is way too small. Most people live in this state without even realizing it. Not in financial freedom, not even in financial planning, but in financial defense. Just trying to survive the next 24 hours without something going wrong. Now let me tell you something that might completely change the way you think about money.
By the way, if you're trying to increase your income instead of cutting expenses, I've linked side hustle resources in the description. It's worth checking if you're looking for additional income opportunities.
This is not about becoming a millionaire. This is not about luxury. And this is not about 6 figures. It's about one number, $10,000. That's it. Because for a lot of everyday people, $10,000 is the number where life stops feeling like an ambush. It's the number where panic starts losing its grip. It's the number where your brain finally gets permission to unclench. And the wild part? The money matters. But the person you become while saving that first $10,000 is worth even more. That's the identity shift. And today, we're talking about why that shift can change your finances, your confidence, your decisions, and even the way you sleep at night. Let's start here. Most people think financial stress comes from not having enough for the big dream life, the fancy car, the luxury vacation, the massive house. But that's not how financial stress usually shows up in real life. It shows up in tiny moments, constant moments, exhausting moments. It shows up in the grocery store when you stand there for 2 full minutes comparing the $4 name brand pasta to the $1.50 generic version. And no, that moment is not really about pasta. It's about pressure. It's about knowing that every dollar already has a job. It's about feeling like one careless choice today might become regret tomorrow. That is survival math. It shows up when your friends invite you out for a casual $25 dinner, and instead of feeling excited, you feel tension. Because now you're not deciding whether you want to go, you're deciding whether you can afford to say yes without creating a problem later. That kind of decision-making does something to people. It drains you. It wears down your confidence. It keeps your body in a low-grade stress state all the time. And when you live there long enough, you stop thinking about growth. You stop thinking about opportunity. You stop thinking about your future because your mind is too busy trying to protect you from the next emergency. And here's the pattern interrupt. $10,000 does not make you rich, but it can make you less fragile. And that changes everything. Because once you have breathing room, life hits different. That check engine light? Still annoying, but no longer terrifying. That unexpected bill? Still inconvenient, but not identity shaking. That medical copay, that urgent repair, that sudden expense, that 1-week gap in income, they stop feeling like proof that your whole life is falling apart. They start feeling like problems you can actually handle. And that shift is bigger than most people realize. Because when you stop living in panic, you start making better decisions. You think clearly. You negotiate differently. You plan differently. You carry yourself differently. You stop acting like someone who is cornered, and you start acting like someone who has options. That is power. Now, let's talk about why $10,000 is such a meaningful milestone. Not because it's magical, not because it solves every problem, but because it covers so many of the problems that keep people trapped. Car repairs, a deductible, a surprise medical bill, a few expensive weeks, a temporary gap between jobs. For many people, depending on lifestyle and fixed expenses, that amount can represent real breathing room. Not forever, but long enough to stop making desperate decisions. And desperate decisions are expensive. They're expensive financially, they're expensive emotionally, and sometimes they're expensive for years. You keep a toxic job because you can't afford to leave. You put emergencies on a credit card, then spend the next year paying interest on stress. You avoid taking a smart risk because one wrong move could knock you flat. But when you have a cushion, you gain something that is almost never talked about enough: walkaway power. You walk into your boss's office differently. You ask for the raise differently. You set boundaries differently. You tolerate less disrespect. Why? Because you are no longer negotiating from desperation. You are no longer thinking, if this goes badly, I'm done. Now you're thinking, if this goes badly, I still have time. I still have choices. I still can move. That changes your posture. It changes your tone. It changes your self-respect. And here's where this gets even deeper, because the real secret is not income, it's identity. Your salary does not determine your wealth nearly as much as your behavior does. We all know someone who makes good money and still feels broke. Every raise disappears. Every bonus gets spent. The car gets nicer, the apartment gets bigger, the lifestyle expands, but the peace never shows up. And then there's somebody else making far less, who is intentional, consistent, disciplined, and quietly building security. That person may not look richer, but they are often much closer to actual freedom. Because wealth is not just about what comes in, it's about what stays. And more importantly, it's about what your habits say about who you are. This is why the first $10,000 is so powerful. It forces you to become someone new, someone more patient, someone more deliberate, someone who can delay gratification, someone who can tell the truth about their spending, someone who stops using money to soothe stress in the moment and starts using money to build safety for the future. That is not just budgeting, that is identity work. At first, saving feels temporary, like a diet, like punishment, like restriction. You think, I'm just trying to save for now. But eventually, if you stick with it, something changes. You stop saying, I'm trying to save, and you start saying, I'm a saver. That sounds small, but it changes everything. Because identity is what people protect. When being a saver becomes part of who you are, your decisions get easier. You don't need motivation every day. You don't need a dramatic reset every Monday. You don't need to keep starting over. Your habits begin carrying you. And yes, the first $1,000 is brutal. It feels slow. It feels unfair. It feels like you're making sacrifices for a number that barely moves. You skip the takeout. You cancel the subscription. You say no to impulse buys. And then you check the account, and it still feels small. But that is the test, because the first 1,000 is where you are proving that you can do hard things consistently. The second 1,000 gets easier. The third 1,000 gets faster. By the time you reach 5,000 or 6,000, you are not just building savings, you are building evidence. Evidence that you are different now. Evidence that future you matters. Evidence that chaos does not get automatic access to your life anymore. And maybe the biggest reward of all is mental energy. Because once you're no longer spending all day doing survival math, you get that energy back. And now you can ask bigger questions. How do I invest? How do I increase my income? How do I build a side hustle? How do I stop trading time for money forever? That's the shift. You move from reactive thinking to strategic thinking, from defense to offense. Now, if $10,000 feels impossible right now, I want to slow this down and say something clearly. You do not need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to stop standing still. Maybe your first move is $25. Maybe it's $50. Maybe it's one automatic transfer a week. Maybe it's canceling 2 subscriptions you forgot you even had. Maybe it's cooking at home 2 extra nights a week. Maybe it's finally looking at your statements without avoiding them. Small is not weak. Small is how this starts. And consistency is what turns a small action into a new identity. Most people are leaking money into places they don't even value. The extra delivery fees, the random convenience spending, the subscriptions nobody uses, the little emotional purchases that feel good for 10 minutes and disappear by next week. If even a fraction of that money gets redirected toward your emergency fund, you will get there faster than you think. Not overnight, but faster than you think. And when you do hit that number, when you finally look at your account and see 5 figures sitting there, you will realize something powerful. Yes, the money is real. Yes, the protection is real. But the real victory is this. You are no longer the same person who used to lie awake at 3 a.m. feeling helpless. Now you have proof that you can protect yourself. Now you have proof that discipline can create peace. Now you have proof that financial security is not just for other people. The money is great, but the peace of mind, the ability to breathe, the ability to sleep, the ability to face life without constant panic in the background, that is priceless. So let me ask you this. What's one survival calculation you're tired of making every single day? Is it the grocery store, the gas pump, the checking account balance, the fear of one unexpected expense? Tell me in the comments. And if you're ready to move from financial defense to financial offense, subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up, because we are building a community of people who are taking back their money, their clarity, and their future. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.
Before you go, remember that building wealth isn't only about saving money. It's also about increasing your income. If you're interested in starting a side hustle or earning extra income online, I've included a recommended platform in the description below. Check it out, see if it's a right fit for you, and always do your own research before getting started. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.